Hello everyone, I am Dr. Nightmare. Throughout my years of working with patients, I have encountered stories too terrifying to be forgotten. Before we begin, write in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is. Let's see who dares to listen in the dead of night. Tonight, I will tell you one of them. A story that began in an ordinary, small house. The house of my patient, Ethan. Ethan was an ordinary man with a simple desire to escape the hustle and bustle of city life and find peace in the silence of nature. He imagined that a cabin on the edge of the forest would be the perfect way to relax, recharge, and enjoy the quiet. But he didn't know that he was stepping into a game with something that wasn't just silence, something that had been waiting, something that didn't like visitors. The house was cheap, suspiciously cheap, the kind of price that makes you wonder why no one else had bought it before. But Ethan wasn't superstitious. He thought he had just found a great deal. The moment he stepped inside, however, he felt it. The air was thick, heavy, and cold. Yes, you know that feeling when something unseen is watching you. But you can't turn your head because you know you won't see anything. That dull darkness that seeps into your bones. But he went into his room, put down his bags, and didn't think for a second that he might regret it. That night, something woke him up. The creaking of wooden floors echoed through the hallway, followed by soft, irregular tapping, like dripping water. Yet, in the bathroom, not a single drop was to be found. The light flickered a few times before returning to normal. At that moment, through the slightly open door, Ethan had the impression that he saw movement, a shadow retreating backward, vanishing into the darkness. The first night was quiet, perhaps too quiet. Only the occasional hoot of an owl and the whisper of the wind through the branches. Yet something wasn't right. As he slept, he heard faint, indistinct footsteps. Heavy, slow, as if someone were treading on the old wooden floor. But when he got up to check, there was no one. Just a dark hallway. Just silence. The next day, it was even worse. There was trash scattered all over the kitchen, and the door that had been firmly shut the previous day was now slightly ajar. That unsettling feeling grew stronger. He still tried to ignore it, to believe it was just exhaustion. But at night in his sleep, he heard sounds he couldn't explain. The creaking of the old wooden floor, soft sighs, but no one there to make them. On the wall above his bed, scratches appeared. They weren't there before. 3 long marks, as if carved by nails belonging to something that didn't want to be seen. In the following days, Ethan set up a camera in the hallway. He suspected something was wrong, but he couldn't explain what. The next morning, he reviewed the footage. On the screen, the basement door could be seen slowly opening. From the darkness, a figure emerged. 2 long, thin arms with elongated fingers reached out from the void. Something slid out from under the basement door. It wasn't human. Ethan couldn't comprehend what it was. He shuddered. That feeling, that terrible feeling that spread from within, was now unbearable. Even though he couldn't believe it, he knew he couldn't stay. He fled. He abandoned the house. Although he left the house, Ethan couldn't recover. He stayed with friends, but that didn't help. He felt that something was following him, something that had stayed with him. He began to notice shadows in mirrors, in the corners of rooms. It seemed like the darkness was always spreading more and more around him. Beneath his fingernails, as he slept, he would wake up with black residue, deep scratches on his chest, and black dust left as a trace. His body seemed to be slowly fading, dissolving into something horrifying. He tried to free himself from it. He reached out to several experts, therapists, and priests, but nothing helped. Whatever had been in that house wasn't just following him. It was inside him, in every step he took, in every breath he drew. One day he decided to go back. Maybe this time he could burn it down, destroy it, and free himself forever. He took a canister of gasoline and resolved to destroy the house. He entered the house with the canister of gasoline, turning on all the lights. The house was even darker than before, the air thick. He began pouring gasoline down the hallway. He shut the basement door, but he felt something was wrong. He felt a cold breath. It sounded like footsteps, that same sense of weight, unease, as if the house was breathing. At that moment, the light went out. Complete darkness. It sounded like it came from everywhere at once. The moment he realized that nothing was in his control, it all happened. From beneath the basement door, in the darkness, he saw something else. A dark black silhouette standing motionless. It had no face, no human features, just a shifting void, moving its hands toward him. Apart from lacking a face, the shadow had no other human characteristics. It was an entity beyond his understanding. Ethan tried to retreat, to run, but it was too late. The house held him. After that, no one ever saw Ethan again. The house remained untouched. Beneath the door, the only visible signs were finger marks on the old wooden planks. The camera recorded only the moment he vanished, and all that remained were his footprints in the dust and several long black scratches on the walls. But they say that when the night is at its quietest, something can still be heard, because the house never forgets, and it waits for its next visitor. This is just the beginning, a brief story and a small piece of the terror I've witnessed. These are tales from the deepest corners of the human mind, from those who couldn't find the strength to fight the evil. They come from places that are darkness in the truest sense, where reason is lost and loneliness and fear reign. But even though these people were vulnerable to the darkest evil, some of them still found the strength to fight back. Follow my channel, like the video, and I will share stories full of evil and dread that will stay with you. There is no escape for those who try to run from reality, because fear is always there, waiting. Write in the comments what kind of story you would like to hear. Do you prefer short or long stories? Do you enjoy a tense atmosphere? Or do you want a deeper dive into the evil? Good night. And remember, evil never sleeps. It waits, it watches, and it always returns when you least expect it. I wish I could tell you that all of this is just a product of my imagination. But unfortunately, this is the dark truth. These stories are not born from fiction. They are the cold, harsh reality that I've had to face. Every word, every detail, is a reflection of the horrors that lurk just beyond the veil of what we know. The terror is real, and it's closer than you think. Because of my profession, I've had to fight demons, and many nights I haven't slept. My eyes have seen evil, things that ordinary people couldn't even begin to imagine, and my ears are bleeding from the most horrifying stories that have been told to me. Each one has left a scar, a deeper one with every passing day. This battle is not just in my mind, it's in every part of my being, and with every breath, I feel that evil is never far. It's always there, waiting for a moment of weakness. Enjoy the stormy night, the sound of rain pounding against your windows, and the thunder rolling through the sky. Relish the warmth of your bed, the comfort of your beautiful home, while your loved ones sleep peacefully by your side. All of this, while the tortured souls, tormented